waiting in the dark, lying on its side.
This is a review of the new MGMT album. MGMT are a psych/synth pop group that got pretty big in the late 2000s with Oracular Spectacular, an album with huge hits like Kids and Time to Pretend and Electric Feel. These songs had huge pop appeal, but I actually do really like some of the psychedelic and abrasive sounds worked into these songs. I really like that album. It probably is my personal favourite from the group, although of course me saying that is very subject to change because they did follow it up with a very, very good album, Congratulations, an album that was a lot more adventurous and psych rock influenced and also had very surprising progressive influences on that album too. However, in 2013 they followed this up with an album that was quite disappointing, honestly. They headed into lo-fi territory, but the fuzziness and the compressed sound quality of the music will really bog these tunes down. And it's a shame because I do see some of these songs really sticking with me, like Your Life is a Lie, and especially Plenty of Girls in the Sea. These were the standouts on an album that was otherwise just really disappointing and underwhelming and just overall very flat and weak. However, with this new album, Little Dark Age, MGMT work with synth pop sounds of the 80s. It is a sound that is extremely old school. However, MGMT managed to bring the sound back in a way that sounds fresh, it sounds unique, it sounds like something that's cute and fun and colourful. The first track on this album, She Works Out Too Much, is just a really fun, spacey track with just a really nice narration as if it's like coming from an intercom speaker.
Get ready to have some fun.
This thing is a really peppy start to the album. However, Little Dark Age is quick to assure you that the synth pop sounds are not going to be generic or boring or copy and paste for the rest of the track listing. In fact, despite the whole sound being pretty old school, pretty similar, it's certainly not an inconsistent album by any means. However, it does vary a lot in its mood, it varies a lot in the kind of atmosphere it's going for, whether it be a really beautiful ballad like Me and Michael, really heartwarming feels on that track, or maybe the despondent chord progressions of the title track, Little Dark Age. Love the harpsichord solo on that thing. Also the very existential When You Die. And if your name is James, you'll certainly enjoy track 6 on this album too. Honestly, there isn't really a single track on this album I didn't like. Even the instrumental track on this thing is just a great show of how well they can produce a song. My only reservation is really just my personal taste. I personally just prefer when MGMT have a little more guts and grit to the production, and for the most part on this album it's very light, at times even a bit thin, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes it does complement a track. However, my personal taste just draws me to tracks by MGMT that just hit a little harder and punchier, which is kind of a reason that I didn't enjoy the previous album, because that just felt very flat and thin and weak despite some of the abrasive sounds they worked into that thing. This album, Little Dark Age, makes up for that by just being really peppy and light and colourful and skippy. It's just a lot of fun and I really enjoyed it. I'm giving this album a very passionate and strong 7 out of 10. It's very good. It's very good.